hello, how's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to a bit of a different stream, I'm not gonna lie. Today, we're gonna talk about the first three games of Premier League season because obviously international break is here right upon us, I'm not gonna lie. So, we definitely need to kinda talk about the first three games of Arsenal's Premier League season because it's been first three games have been quite a bit of an up and down for Arsenal in general, and have been quite a bit up and down in Premier League overall. So there is the big question at the moment. We are going to talk about this and we're going to discuss the things that are happening all over the place, basically, because we're going to look at other teams in Premier League, we're going to look at Arsenal's performances, and we're going to try and decide what's going on here, because it's not the best of starts. Yes, we have 2 wins, we have a draw. We could have had 2 wins and a loss. We had 3 wins overall. But the big part is the performances are not convincing whatsoever. Obviously, there's still time to get into gears a bit, if that makes sense, because it's only 3 games. At the same time, we are going up against Manchester City, Liverpool, and other teams who, by the looks of things, are performing very well. They are not kicking into gear. They are already into a gear. So definitely gonna talk about that. We're gonna look at last year's season, how it finished, what was table saying, and how it looked overall. And we're gonna compare them. We're gonna discuss how Sterling could impact the rest of the season as well. We're gonna talk about all that, and of course, if you're new around here, don't forget to smash thumbs up. Don't forget subscribe, hit that bell, and everything. Don't forget to get interactive in the chat and everything. So overall, yeah. Let's get into it in a way. Let's talk about things. Let's talk about Arsenal in general, because so far it has been quite interesting to say the least. Now, if we kick things off in general about this season, overall, I must say this season hasn't been that bad. Now, I didn't expect this to happen. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this, and we're gonna look at that like that. So basically, this season, obviously, every single team has played 3 games. Oh my god, I'm such a dumbass. I've covered my own face. Madness. Anyways, we have played 3 games, and Arsenal currently are sitting 4th, which is not bad. I'm not gonna lie, which is not bad after 3 games. Sitting 4th, obviously, is not the worst. At the same time, from where we want to be and where we should be being at the moment, it's not looking too great. I'm not gonna lie. Most importantly, the fact that all the 2 wins of these 3 and the draw were not convincing results overall. Our attack is struggling in a way. Our defense is struggling. Our midfield is it's like an old fence. Everyone walks straight through it, and you could argue that if we didn't have David Raya in goal, we wouldn't be where we are at the moment. We would be much lower on the table, because we all know how things could have gone if Raya didn't make that insane save against Strand Larsen against Wolves in the first game. It would have made it 1-1. Obviously, we know what would have happened if Watkins scored the first goal and then he scored that header and Raya didn't pull another world-class save. Obviously, we know where would we be in the table. So this is the big question. Should Arsenal fans, and maybe not Arsenal per se, but Arsenal fans in general, should they be panicking? And that is a big question for today's episode. That's the big talk at the moment for me in this instance. And we're gonna try and deduce, should it be happening, should it not be happening, how it could go, and where it could obviously lead Arsenal during this season. Because overall, we have challenged for Premier League for 2 seasons in a row. Obviously, 2 years ago, nobody expected us to challenge. So we finished second, 5 points behind City. We were 8 points ahead. So total tally in the last 2.5 months, we went negative 13 points compared to Manchester City. Because Manchester City did what Manchester City does. They went on a winning streak where they don't lose any single game. With Saliba's injury, Arsenal pretty much crumbled under the pressure big time, and they never recovered. Last season, on the other hand, we were pretty much never on top. We were playing the chaser game. We were chasing them. And all we had to do at the end part of the season was to win all of the games. And yeah, also that didn't happen. We suffered a loss against Aston Villa, where Arteta made some tactical changes, which obviously we paid a very dear price, to say the least. But obviously, last season we didn't lose Premier League in the game against Aston Villa. We lost even before that in December against Fulham, against West Ham, and games we actually played before that. Aston Villa game, which was this year already, when we went, I think, 15-1 overall during the season. So overall, to be honest, Arsenal's 2024 record is nothing to sneeze at in a way in Premier League. 17 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. So it's not the worst. Yet at the same time, it has come at such crucial stages when it has cost us the most. And that is usually what Arsenal do on many occasions. They play, they get themselves in a very good position to go further in elimination stages, to go to win a title, to win a cup, and somehow, in some way, they always manage to find themselves in a position where they shoot themselves in the foot. And that happened last year, that happened year before that, and at the moment when we are looking at this season, it's kind of happening already, and this is only the third game. Obviously, in the last year when we started the season, it was something similar, because we decided to play, for some weird reason, Partey at right back. We decided to, Arteta basically, decided to play Partey at right back, bench Gabriel, where then was linked with Saudi and everything, but obviously nothing of that came to life and everything. And you could say that when we play these games, when Arsenal are looking at playing top 6 and the rest of the league, after that, top 5 and after that, for Arsenal, the biggest worry actually isn't playing the top 5 teams. Because even under Arsene Wenger, we were doing good against them. In a way, you get what I mean by that, saying that. The biggest issue for Arsenal is playing the lower end sides. And that, ultimately, at the end of the season, has cost us. Because the closer you get to Man City, the smaller the margin for error gets. And the closer we are getting, we just are in the same spot, in a way. We somehow manage to either shoot ourselves in the foot, in a way, or we somehow manage to, at the end of the day, lose the game when we should be winning. And that is usually against one of the smaller sides, not against the big sides. Because 2 seasons ago, you could say it was Southampton. Last season, definitely it was Fulham. Both games, it was West Ham. This season, already we have drawn against Brighton. And already it's something of the similar fashion. Obviously, Brighton have a very exciting team. They have a very good young manager they signed just for St. Pauli, who's just like, 32, 33 years old even, if not, or something like that. They're playing some very good football. They just beat Manchester United and everything. But at the end of the day, it's one of the big reasons why Arsenal are who they are. In a way, since for the last, 15 years, I would say. For the last 15, if not more years. Because when the going gets tough, we tend to sometimes crumble under the pressure. And Arsenal are not that team that can hold a consistent results throughout the whole season. We always have a massive performance dip. At some point, when there's a cluster or two smaller ones or one big one, when we basically drop points of a massive bunch. It happened 2 years ago, it happened last year, it has happened before. If you remember, 3 years ago, when we had pretty much secured top 4, we needed to get like few points from the last 5 games, and we basically balled all of those games. And Spurs overtook us and we finished 5th. So it's not a coincidence that at this stage already, on some level, I wouldn't say Arsenal fans are panicking, and I don't think we should be panicking at the moment. But we definitely should make ourselves aware of the situation, and we definitely should be looking at things to improve and change around, because this cannot continue. This is not a sustainable thing, especially if we kind of try and include the fact that usually challenging for a title 3 years in a row is very uncommon. Usually in the 3rd season, you see some sort of a slump, some sort of a drop-off. And the way Arsenal have challenged in the last 2 seasons, and with basically getting no success in that instance, with no trophies, with nothing, this is the season. And I strongly believe so. And I hope I'm wrong. Genuinely, I hope I'm wrong. But I strongly believe that this is the season where Arsenal, at some point, the wheels could come off. Because, yes, we have sold well. You could say, yes, the money could have been more. Yes, the deals could have happened sooner, earlier in the window. They could have taken a short period of time and all that stuff. But we sold well, in the sense that we have gone rid of the deadwood. The issue, on the other hand, is we have not replaced them. And that is one of the big issues why long term for Arsenal I could see this season being a drop off. Because we don't have players to rotate whatsoever. Genuinely, we don't have them. We have maybe 2, 3, 4 players we can sub on as rotations overall, maybe without losing too much of quality. But the rest of them pretty much are youngsters. Because the rest of the team are defenders. Arteta has done such a diligent job signing only goalkeepers and defenders that we can rotate our defense how we like. Basically, who we want, where we can put them. Basically, they have open places. We can put one at center back, right back. Doesn't matter. The issue is on attack and midfield is the big struggle points, and that's why me and many other people, many other fans, countless amounts of fans, many other YouTubers who are talking about Arsenal and not even talking about Arsenal, about other fans, see that Arsenal need a striker. Yet, what the Arsenal do? They don't sign a striker. Because, let's be real, if we sign a striker, we win all those 3 games of the start of the season much more convincingly. It could have been 4-5-0 against Wolves. It could have been definitely like 3-4-0 against Aston Villa. Could have been against Brighton 3-4-0 easily. We wouldn't have had to have that red card as well potentially. Because we have created some of the chances. We just don't have someone who basically put them in the back of the net. And that is the big issue. Because I saw a stat, I don't know if it was yesterday or day before, where Arsenal are not even, and as much as I don't pay too much attention to stats, I obviously do, but not to every single stat. But this was one that really bothered me. The fact that Arsenal are not even in top 8 in created chances from open play. That is for me a big issue at the moment. Big up Pepper in the chat. We are watching the same movie. Yes, we are watching the movie where we again are close enough, we don't do enough job, and we're gonna see some sort of a drop off. Arsenal have chose we don't need a striker. The thing is, at the end of the season, during the season, when we will have issues scoring, don't cry that we need a striker anymore. Because at the moment, I see many Arsenal fans still supporting this goddamn fact that Arsenal don't need a striker. I'm a strong believer that we do. I'm a strong believer that we do need a striker. We don't have... Yes, we can create a lot of chances, yet at the same time, we don't have enough quality on our wings to finish them more consistently. We don't play the football we used to play 2 seasons ago, where it was very expensive, very attacking, and we created more chances than sense. And then it kind of overmassed around the fact that we couldn't finish, because we created such velocity of chances that pretty much everyone scored. So everyone was hyping the fact that we spread the goals around. Last season, you could see that it's dropped, the chance creation amount, and on top of that, we created certain chances which we couldn't finish and the times when we needed to finish the most, we didn't have anyone to put the ball back into the net. And this season, it's another time of the same damn story. We create chances, not as much as 2 years ago, not as much even as last year in a way, but we create chances. If we had a proper striker up top, the games could have been done by halftime. 3-0, 4-0, games should have been done. Yet, with the fact that we don't have an actual striker up top, is costing us at the moment. And as much as you want to try to kind of explain and defend Kai Havertz, he is not a striker. He's not a proper gunsman who will get the ball in his feet and bang it into the net straight up with one turn. He's not the guy. We saw it against Brighton. He scored a goal, great goal, chipped the keeper, amazing finish. Yet at the same time, he takes a great touch, goes one-on-one, and he scuffs it pretty much. Because in that instance, if we had a proper striker, more chances than not that he will finish. 100% if we had a proper striker. If we even had Giroud up top in that game, at that situation, 100% Giroud scores that. 100%. I have no doubt in my mind about that. Genuinely. Big up Nick in the chat. I even said to people outside the ground at AFTV, that we dropped points in game week 3 last season like we have done here again. Exactly. And last year it was Fulham as well, right? It was just this game we got the red card. Last year Fulham got the red card and they equalized. We got the red card and we dropped points at the moment. That's the big thing. Because I will reiterate this again, the big teams, when Arsenal play against them, let's just say top 5 for this instance, for Arsenal are not a problem. Even based on last year's stats or in general, we actually play decently against them. The big downfall for Arsenal every single season when they try to achieve something is the smaller teams. 2 years ago against Southampton. 3 years ago when we were fighting for top 4 and finished 5th, it was Brighton again. I think it was Forest and everyone. Last year, Fulham, West Ham, even Aston Villa to some extent. The smaller teams is the big issue for Arsenal. And in those games, you see the most that we need a proper striker. Those are the games. Because it's all fun and games when... Just look here. Last season, we scored 91 goals. Record-breaking goal-scoring season, right? We can all agree to that. Yet at the same time, people just won't talk about the fact that on certain level, it was just stat padded due to 3-4 games. In the second part of the season, Arsenal won 6-5 nothing. Yeah, and that basically painted the picture that Kai Havertz can play up top and Arsenal don't need a striker. Because when we were playing those games, when we went on that 15 wins, 1 loss run, Havertz was up top. He had decent goal-scoring form. Goal-scoring form, not form, but goal-scoring form only. He scored goals, he assisted and everything. And that kind of painted over the cracks to the fact that we don't need a striker. And now, every single time, it will come down to this. When it will be 1-1, when we will lose a game, it will again fall back to the same statement. We created enough chances, we couldn't finish them. Why? Because we don't have a proper bagsman up top. And it will always fall back to that instance. And people will try to defend it and everything. Oh, it's just a one-off, but it's not a one-off. It's a reoccurring theme throughout the last few seasons especially, and at the time it has cost us. And that for me is why I wouldn't say Arsenal fans need to panic, but they need to start, there should be some worry, long term. Because the games we have coming up, the games we have in Champions League, include the cups and everything. We have 70 games almost, 60 plus games a season. 38 in league. If we get even to quarterfinals or semifinals in Champions League, right? It's like 10 games, yeah. So it's 48 games. Let's just say Carabao, FA Cup, we get past next 2-3 rounds. That's extra 6-7 games again. So we are inching towards that 55-60 game mark. And in long term, it won't be sustainable. Because another thing for me is, in this instance, the fact that if we had a proper striker up top, it would be an extra issue for opposing team to worry about. Because at the moment, we don't have that, and the defenders and the opposing team, opposing manager, in tactics-wise can say, okay, Havertz, he makes runs, we can track those, we can do offside traps, we can kind of double triple team Saka, double triple team whatever who is playing on the left, double triple team Odegaard, play mid-block and shut down the passing lanes. That's it. It doesn't take much to shut Arsenal down. We have seen this over and over again. When we play just like U-shaped football, like horseshoe, for the whole half, ball is moving slower than a snail, and it feels like we are in dreamland, in Narnia somewhere, and we are not doing anything with it. Because they can focus on all the areas to nullify us. Everyone knows, nullify our right side. If you can deal properly with the left side, we are screwed instantly. Because we don't have a player up top who can get the ball, one turn, drop the shoulder, bag in the ball in the back of the net. We don't have that. We don't have that one extra man up top that, I don't want to say X factor, but obviously a striker who puts extra fear into defenders and makes opposing teams rethink their defending strategies. And that is also for me a big issue. One of the biggest reasons as well I wanted us to sign a striker this summer. Don't need even like Mbappe. Don't even need Osimhen, Gyökeres. Tony was there. Dovbik was there. Okay, Seshko, I don't know, turned us down or not. It looked like he wanted just bigger contract. That's why we didn't sign him at the end of the day. But even, and I know people will laugh at me for this, but Alvaro Morata. 10, 13 million he went, right, to AC Milan. Yes, he misses chances. At the same time, he's a proper striker. He can be up top there, different type of striker, to score certain amount of goals. And he doesn't even have to start. He can be a backup for Kai Havertz. Even as that, he wouldn't mind it. But it would be another different option up top, who and even we can maybe sub off a midfielder when we are chasing the game or it's a draw, to have an extra option up top. Because that is Mikel Arteta's only plan when we are losing or drawing the game. Sub on as many attacking players as we can. Because when we were losing to Bayern, Nketiah comes on, other wingers come on, every single attacker we can imagine. And that has been his only go-to move. Because it worked against Bournemouth, when we won 3-2. It worked in another game, and now he thinks it's gonna work every single game. But it doesn't work like that. We need that plan B of the bench. We need plan C if plan B doesn't work. But the issue with Arteta as well is, we don't actually have a proper plan B. Because in a way we sub on Trossard and just pray he scores. That's the only thing that happens during the games if we cannot score. We don't actually have a proper plan B when we go on attack. We just have plan A, utilize the right side. If that doesn't go, kind of try left side a bit, maybe try something like that, but that's about it. We don't do anything else during the games. It's always slow football and everything. That for me is a big issue. Well, AFT 1 subscribers, so they influence a lot of... That's true. That's the thing. They influence a lot of narratives that are pushed out there. And PR and Arsenal media see that. They eat it up. They kind of push it back out. Then AFTV and other big ones who only see good things and want to fit in and be top gooners also see that. They kind of regurgitate that, put it out, again and again Arsenal eat it, and then they push it out. It's a never-ending circle. Yet at the time when, for example, me, who just sits here and voices my own opinion, the fact that we need a striker, we haven't done enough in transfer window. It's 5 or 4 out of 10 window overall. We haven't done anything in this transfer window to get closer to Manchester City, while other teams have done everything to get closer to us. Man City didn't have to do anything. They could have just sat there because 100% Sheikh Mansour and everyone sitting in there with Pep Guardiola smoking cigars and everything and looking at Arsenal, Liverpool and everyone thinking, look at these idiots. They were just this close to winning the title for the last 2 years. What are they doing now to overtake us? Nothing. So we can sell Alvarez, not replace him. Let's go sign Savio, who already looks better than 95% of wingers in the Premier League. And on top of that, they get back Gundogan. For free. Their most influential and most clutch midfielder they have had. So what are we even talking about here? We don't need a striker. We spread the goals around. We gonna win this, we gonna win that. Let's be real, we are not. And that is the end of it. But people are not ready for this conversation. So let's talk when it actually happens. Just putting it out there. I'm not afraid to admit I was wrong. If Arsenal win, I will sit here, praise, admit that I was wrong. But at the moment, I have no evidence to suggest me otherwise, that we actually gonna win. There's more proof that we actually not gonna win anything than any other suggestion that you can put out there. I'm glad the point we were making about stat padding games has been picked up more and more. Yeah, exactly. Will we do something in January? No. That's my view of it. Because when has been a proper January transfer window when we have actually addressed the issues we have had in the team? And 100% Next thing I will see, most likely in the chat, if someone is typing this, 2 years ago, Jorginho and Trossard. That will be the first thing they will type. But that also isn't the case. Jorginho, opportunity signing, we just need the midfield. Kinda has worked out, but it's not a long-term plan. You will say Trossard, he has worked out. But not because it was Arteta's brilliant master plan. He wanted to get Mudryk for 90 million or 100 even before that. Mudryk was crying on the plane while flying to Chelsea and begging for Arsenal to sign him. Not the first time. Trossard wasn't plan A. He was plan B. We just got lucky that he works. He was actually a quality player. He showed that at Brighton, scoring hat-trick at Anfield and everything. He actually is the best finisher we have in our team. It's just unfortunate for him, per se, that he cannot put in proper performances as a starting player. He is the 12th man who needs to come off the bench, who changes the game, who influences the game. But he's not gonna do that forever. We cannot rely on him. We need starting 11 who can already do the job, and then we need to back it up with proper substitutions. And at the moment, we have places our starting 11 that need improving themselves massively. Not even talking about the bench, where we have sold most of our players, and we haven't replaced them in general this transfer window. That is also a big issue. We have loaned out / sold every single backup for Martin Odegaard. We have signed Merino, who is now injured. We have signed Raheem Sterling, who I hope does well. I really hope he does well. Genuinely hope he does well and he actually lifts Arsenal. Because you could arguably say that's the only option we have at attacking positions to actually create and score something. Because Merino is not going to bag you 20 plus goals or even get double digits in goals and assists. We can hope that Sterling does that. In toxic Chelsea squad, who is a mess, he did that with 16, 15 points each season for the last 2 years. So if he plays properly at Arsenal, he gets proper game time, he actually could do a bit of a madness here. I believe so. I hope it works out for him. But our attacking lines are lacking quite massively in my opinion. And at the moment, that's one of the biggest worries. And on top of that, our defense is not that convincing in the first 3 games. It feels like Gabriel has lost his mind. Arguably, he has been the reason why we nearly conceded in each of the games. We are down to 10 men. Our defense splits up like the sea before Moses. Like, what are we doing here? How comes, who was it? Not Veltman? I think it was Veltman or Dunk. Just gives a straight pass through midfield, defense and everyone to put in, who was it? I think Minte or Welbeck or who was it through the lines. Raya makes a good save. But if you look at the footage at the time, João Pedro, was covered by Partey. As soon as the ball goes through to the striker, Partey stops running. He starts to walk and starts to jog very slowly. Meanwhile, João Pedro has blitzed past him, and by the time the Brighton player has taken a shot, which Raya parries, right? João Pedro already is in a striker's situation where he just needs to just kick the ball in empty net. While Partey is still on about 20 to 22 yard line, basically, outside the box, just looking at what's going on. And that is our 6 we are relying on to save us this season. Seriously? That is our 6 we're relying on at the moment. No legs, out of form, just like Declan Rice at the moment. Out of fitness. I think Euros have really drained him, and at the moment he looks like a shadow of himself. I wish Arsenal did some black arts, talked to the national teams, and said, the international break is coming up, you have friendlies, some stuff like that, just don't call our players up. Let them rest. Because we have big players in our team. You think Spain can't live without Merino, can't live without Raya? Easily they can. You think England cannot live without Rice, without Saka? Let's be real, of course they can. Most of our players they can live without. Partey has gone to AFCON, not AFCON, but the Africa quali games as well. You don't think I'm shitting myself seeing that he's gonna get injured there? Of course I am. For once, Gabriel and of course Jesus have not been called up for Brazil yet. Gabriel Magalhães has been. Let's see how he does there. Like, we could easily just get done over. Our depth is not enough at the moment during this season. Last year, if you look at the screen, we won 28 games, we drawn 5 and lost 5. And to be honest, most of those draws/losses came in December when we went 1-7. Because after that we lost only to Aston Villa. Until that 2-week break we had during January, we lost all the games and all the points we could ever have needed to win the league. Because one draw against Fulham we turn into a win if Zinchenko doesn't kick it out for a necessary corner, which they score instantly from João Paulinho with 10 men. We get the extra 2 points and we win the league last year. Because we would have better goal difference by 1 goal, mind you. Only 1 goal, but we would have better goal difference. That's how thin and small the margins are. Because we can genuinely, at the moment, sit here at the end of the season and we will be thinking, what if Havertz scored against Brighton in that 3rd game of the season? What if Saka scored against Brighton in that 3rd game of the season? And again, at the end of the season, when it will be that bit short, small margins, it will all come down to what ifs. At the end of the day, it will come down to what ifs. And then everyone will say, well, we were even closer this year. Let's go in the next transfer window and try it again. At the moment, based on last window, you have any trust that we're gonna do it? Because this window was the window to make a statement, to show that Cronkies are serious, they're gonna back the manager and Edu, and we're gonna even close the gap between Arsenal and Manchester City even more, to maybe even win the league. Go sign a striker, backup for Saka, proper number 8, and then you can sign your Sterling, maybe Calafiori. Because if we sign those 3 players, striker, backup for Saka, and a proper number 8, and then we can add on top some random Sterling or someone else, right? Then we are looking at the window and sitting here, oh, we have done some excellent job. We can actually win the league. But at the moment when we are sitting here, after this window, no chance whatsoever. Let's be real, no chance whatsoever. And to answer your question, which has been already I've been waffling to a long-winded answer, will we do something in January? I said no. And mostly because previous January windows have showed us that. What, we gonna go sign another Kivior level signing? That's gonna improve our squad. Last time we did actually proper business in January was the January when we signed Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Yet at the same time, it was due to the fact that Alexis Sanchez left for Manchester United. Wenger was a bit of in trenches, and we actually needed some sort of a signing to boost up Arsenal's and Arsenal fans' morals. Pretty much. That was the last time we actually did some proper good squad improving business. Who had instant impact pretty much at Arsenal. Instant impact, no questions asked. Instant impact. It was a striker, mind you. That has been actually the last striker we have properly signed, to be honest, at Arsenal. Like a proper bagsman who actually has carried out his name as a striker with pride at Arsenal. That is the big thing. That is the big thing. And that's why I actually don't believe we will do anything this January transfer window. Yes, you can say, oh, we did this, we did that, and we have to do this and we have to do that. How can we do anything if we cannot do anything in summer even? at the time when it matters the most. Because in January, everyone's more expensive. Because it's mid-season, nobody wants to let their players go. So this means that in this January, Kroenkes will need to pay 10, 15 million over the odds even. And I don't see them doing that. They are businessmen. And every businessman will tell you that paying 10, 15 million, okay, 5, let's just say 5, 10 million, over the top, over the value, already is money out of your pocket, and it never be a good deal of business. Because you don't go into a store to buy a chewing gum, which for example costs £1, right? And you're not going in and you're not paying £3 just because for the store it's the last gum and they need to make a bit more profit to make their yearly quota or whatever. It's never gonna happen like that. It says £1 on the tin, you are paying £1. So that's how I see it. That's how I see it. This was how we match up with that other team. We had the chance. Kroenkes just had to give the money. We had the chance. Where is all the Champions League money, all the TV revenues, all the kid deals, Visit Rwanda deals, Emirates fly with Emirates and all that crap? Where are all the deals? All the money Kroenkes got from the USA tour, by the way, because the big game against United was played at Kroenkes Stadium. All that goes into his pocket. Arsenal see basically, let's be real, none of it. Lucky if we see one drop of it at the end of the day. Many people who came to see the fan cams outside the Emirates were discontent and waiting for Yarman. Crowd more than halved once Yarman had finished his interview. People don't like to hear opinions that don't agree with their opinions. And as soon as they don't agree with the opinions they have on something, they either start to curse you out because they don't know do anything better. They have issues basically, just like bullies in high school in a way, or they instantly just turn away you and say you're toxic, you're negative, what are you even doing here, why are you even an Arsenal fan? No, you cannot have that opinion. Yes, I can. How comes everyone says be yourself, be individual, trust yourself. When everything is going against you, if you believe it will happen, do it. Believe in yourself. Yet when you do it, everyone instantly cusses you out, no matter what the situation in life. No matter what, everyone instantly tries to stop you. The hypocrisy in the society is actually quite insane in that instance, let's be real. But anyways, let's look at this again. Where was I? I even a bit lost my train of thought, which is kind of mad. Let me think, where was I? Yeah, this season has started pretty much like last season. Very questionable performances, and the third game of the season we instantly drop points. Only difference is we got the red card, not they got the red card at the end of the day. And now we are in this situation when we are going into the next games after international break. After international break, we gonna face this schedule, and I will have to do it this way, which is kind of mad, so very sorry about that. Looks very scuffed, but I think you're gonna be fine with it. Now we have to go into this, which instantly has got me riddled with a bit of a fear, to say the least. Let's be real. Because after we come from international break, and we all know that after international break we tend to struggle, let's be real. We play against Tottenham without Declan Rice, without Merino. I have actually no idea what's happening with Odegaard, because before the game against Brighton he had a bit of an injury and he got tended by the medical staff. Haven't heard anything about it. Hopefully he's okay. Same goes for Jurriën Timber. He's been called up to Dutch international team, and he was cramping up according to Mikel Arteta. Let's hope it is what it is. But after international break, we instantly already have some rough matchups. We have Spurs away, then we travel to Atalanta, to Italy, away, which already I can tell you will be a very tough game. Very tough game. Although, Uh, Atalanta are not doing the greatest in Serie A. They are only at the moment 12th. 3 games, 1 win, 2 losses. But they have scored 5 goals and conceded 6. So they are not doing that great. Yet at the same time, trust me, Champions League is a different animal. And then we travel back from Italy and go straight to play against Manchester City. Now, if you remember, last year we had 5 draws and 5 losses throughout the whole season. We already have a draw. Manchester City last year lost only 3 games and drew 7. And to be honest as well, when we beat Manchester City at Emirates, it was a super lucky goal where Martinelli takes a shot, it deflects off Ake, and basically there was no chance of it going, Ederson saving that. If we didn't score that chance, it's 1-1, and that would be all she wrote. We would have had 2 draws against Manchester City at the end of the season. But overall, if we look at this right now, again, we have super tough 3 games coming up. Super tough 3 games. And Bolton game, by the way, in the EFL Cup also has been rescheduled to September 25th. September 25th. So basically, in the next, after we come from international break, we have 1 week, 2 weeks. So basically, in span of 3 weeks, we have to play 7 games. Basically, we play a game every 3rd day after international break. We have Spurs, 4 days later Atalanta away, 3 days later City away, 3 days later Bolton at home, 3 days later Leicester at home, then 3 days later again we have PSG at home, and then 4 days later we have Aston Villa at home. So in the next 21 days, if you will, we have to play, not 24 days, we have to play 7 games. So basically we play a game every 3rd day on average. Do you think, with all this traveling in the first 3 days, our team is equipped and deep enough to withstand this? And if we want to have any chance of winning the league, win all the Premier League games. This is a harsh reality that's now slowly settling in. And let's be real, by the time these 3 games are done, you could argue we will see what is what and where Arsenal will finish this season. Because if we lose or draw against Spurs, and we lose or draw against City, you could kinda already start to pack your bags and wave title chances goodbye. Already, I'm telling you that right now. It's not looking great. I'm genuinely not looking great. Big up coach in the chat. I'm calm, still very early in the season. We have seen like City drew and lost to Wolves last season. It's a marathon or a sprint. We saw Spurs ball for 10 games. True. The thing is, City can do whatever they want. They have the squad to do it. They have basically, if you basically split City's squads in 2 11s, they basically would have 2 squads that would compete for top 4 every single season. Obviously, you cannot do that. So, well, maybe second squad would not be for the number 1 spot, but definitely for top 6 for sure, in my opinion. But overall, I'm talking about Arsenal here. We don't have enough depth in the team to withstand all the games this season. Harsh weeks through September 15th to November 9th with exception of a few games. Exactly. There legit are few exceptions. Not to mention we have the EFL Cup. If we get past that, past Bolton, right? Somewhere in this basically place we will have more EFL Cup games. That will add extra games in the middle and extra pressure in the middle. Which again, I hope Arteta just doesn't snide on these games and doesn't throw his nose up in the air and says we don't need the CFL Cup, we are going for the big glory. Genuinely. We knew about this now. I see many fanbase panicking about these tough fixtures. My main thing was our first 11 is gonna make Exactly, last season. Pretty much same starting 11 besides left back position throughout the whole season. No injuries. Let's be real. Partey was injured throughout the whole season. Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, doesn't matter. Overall, our main guys, no injuries. We walked through the season. And even then we didn't win it, by the way. Now, this season, our squad look, you could say quality maybe is better. Because let's be real, Sterling is better than Nelson. Although we don't have a striker. Still Jesus is injured, Merino is injured. Tomiyasu, God knows when he's coming back and everything. Even if we lose those two, it's fine. I won't be worried. We beat them last season and didn't win it. And didn't win it. The games like Fulham, West Ham, Villa that cost us. So let's just go game by game. I'm not going game by game. I am going game by game. That sounds very wrong. I already told this in the beginning of the stream. I'm not worried as much with City game, Tottenham game, and those games. I'm more worried about these Brightons, Southamptons, Newcastle. What else is here? West Ham away. And Crystal Palace even away will be a rough one. Brentford looks in a good form. Then I'm worried about those games. But at the moment, it looks like we are going into Spurs game without Declan Rice, Merino, Jesus, if he doesn't come back by then. Obviously no Tomiyasu. And no instances on or guarantees of what's going to happen when. Because after international break, who knows who's going to get injured. Obviously, I hope nobody gets injured. But what if someone gets injured? What are you going to do then? Saka already, before the game against Villa, was tended by the medical staff. Odegaard, before the game against Brighton, before the game, was being tended by the medical staff. So something is not adding up there as well. And at some point, something is going to give. And I think our players have been so overplayed because, let's be real, we all saw the stats last year that Arsenal were the only team for a long time where about 4 or 5 players were the only ones who had played 40 plus games and 50 plus games in a row for any team in Premier League. Closest one to that was like Man City, who had about 8-9 games less the next player. I don't think this is sustainable long term. We won't go through another season with the same starting 11 the whole season. To be honest, Rice already looks like he's being drained from energy after the Euros. He looks like a shadow of himself. Arteta is trying to play him in more advanced role now in the number 8. And it means that he's already without energy by 35th, 40th minute. We saw that when he was taking corners. I'm worried about that. Now he has some time off, maybe he will kind of re-energize himself, who knows. But I'm not gonna sit here and be silent with glaring and obvious issues which very, very soon could turn out to be true and at the end of the day cost us. Big time cost us. We do. Kivior can play in Ranieri, Jorginho, Skelly against Bolton. Okay, and then who's gonna play against Leicester, PSG, Southampton? All these games are within 3 days of each other. You play one game, Kivior, Jorginhos, your Skellies and all that stuff, Ranieris. For the rest of the 6 games, you play the same 11. Saka, Odegaard. It's not gonna work. Because 3 away games on highest top tier quality, already by the end of game against Atalanta, we will look burnt out. And then we have to travel back to UK. Then we have to go to Manchester still. 100% against City, it will be hell on earth. Haaland at the moment has scored more goals than Arsenal together as a team. City usually tend to start season very, very slow. We all know that. They have very subpar performances. They are always look off pace. And we always say this. They always look bad. They always look you could get at them. And then towards the second part of the season, they click into gear. At the moment, they have already clicked into gear. And who knows if what's the level above that. Because Pep Guardiola said in an interview, these first 3 preseason first 3 games of the season for City was like preseason. The real season starts after international break. He said it himself. No chance Kevin De Bruyne will be again out for half a year. Haaland will be out for 2-3 months again, like last year. No chance. We actually will get done over if our defense actually doesn't shape up, because our defense has let us down big time in the first 3 games of the season. We're just lucky that this time, compared to last year, Raya has bailed them out, because last year's defense bailed Raya out. This season, for the first 3 games, Raya has bailed Arsenal out. Whole team. Against Strad Larson, Wolves, against what's its face? Watkins, he missed an empty net, then Raya makes a world-class save on him. Against Yari, against Brighton, where we should have lost. We also had the chances to win those games. We just didn't take them. Well, I mean, specifically Brighton. We had 2 breakaways. We had chance to play the ball to Calafiori, yet Odegaard decided to do his random bumble outside of foot type of weird scuffed pass, which hit straight defender. All he had to do is play through. That's it, and Calafiori was in one-on-one. 100%, if many Arsenal fans, I've seen this, like to compare him to Ozil, if you exclude the work rate, Ozil makes that pass with his eyes closed. Odegaard didn't make that pass. Game week 14 early December will be against Manchester United at home, like managed by Michael Carrick as Inter. We need to be likely. We'll see. 3 points off the top at this stage to have a chance. We need to be maximum 3 points, in my opinion, away from City, because City will kick into gear. They will stay up. They will kick into gear. Our fixtures turn after the Man United game week 14, and our fixtures turn we need to put together. Exactly. To be honest, until the next preseason international break, we need to win all the games. In Premier League and in Champions League and in Cup, we need to win all of those games, and that includes against City. We are already 2 points behind City. That's the big part. My Spurs 11: Raya, White, Salah, Gabriela, Partey, Zinchenko, Saka, Havertz, Sterling. Okay, I get it. One thing: no chance Zinchenko plays in midfield. Arteta has never played him in the midfield, and I don't see an indication why would he. To be honest, at the same time, the alternative of playing Jorginho next to him is even worse in a way. We would have 2 granddads with broken feet as a double pivot, which is not great at all, to be honest. Zinchenko, offensively, yes, he would offer us quite a bit. Defensively, oh God help us all. Because he will get out-muscled and outrun by everyone defensively. My Bolton 11. Neto cannot play. He played for Wolves in the Cup. He is cup-tied. He cannot play there. Either you play Raya or you play Setford. Timba, Kivior, Calafiori, Zinchenko, Jorginho, Ranieri, Trossard, Martinelli, Sterling. Good work, but after that, what's gonna happen then? If we even get past Bolton, let's just say we get past Bolton, right? Next game in the Cup, sake of an argument, Chelsea, City, Liverpool. You're gonna play the same 11? Especially when you have these games looming. Because there's a big possibility that, for example, in this spell of games, when we have Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, Inter away, Chelsea away, Forest at home, Sporting away, West Ham away, United at home, we will have another EFL Cup game. And who knows who we're gonna get? Because we could easily get another Premier League top 6 side. And then it won't be as rosy. Then you cannot play your Kiviors, your Manieris and everything. You actually have to play your best players if you actually want to win it. And I think that will show what is what, to be honest. Fabio Vieira makes that pass, never mind Mesut. To be honest, Fabio Vieira has made a few good passes. We don't have enough to rotate. We don't. We don't have enough to rotate. That is my biggest point. Because if you want to rotate properly, you need to rotate in a way where team doesn't lose the quality. And when we rotate, especially attack-wise, and even midfield-wise to some extent, the drop-off is from here to here. Only place where we are covered is defense. That for me is the biggest issue here. Only place we are covered is the defense, not even attack. Attack-wise, we are genuinely so open, it's actually mad. From game week 14, Man United at home, till game week Man City at home, we need to win every game to make up the ground, as I expected us to be 3 points behind at least. More likely we'll be out. To be honest, there is a big possibility if we keep this up, if the performance actually doesn't improve drastically. Because this year also, Champions League drags out till end of January. We don't have in January a week, 2 weeks off like we had before. We just don't anymore. We don't. So we won't have time to go to Dubai, eat salt-based meat, pause, and everything. We won't have time to reset, rethink, redo. We will have to go straight in game by game. No time to adjust properly. But Havertz drops into the pocket to help Zini. I want to see Setford play a game. To be honest, I would like as well. The thing is, only place where he can play is Bolton in EFL Cup, or if we get someone like Stockport in some sort of a way when we just draw them. If we play Setford, let's just say, against, for example, even United, even Chelsea, if we get them in a cup game, we're gonna get done over. Let's be real. Use the EFL Cup game to build the rhythm of your... I think if Martinelli doesn't show up this season, he's gone. I genuinely believe so, by the way. Setford should play the Bolton game. Yeah, I can see that. I strongly can see Setford. If there's a chance, he actually might play it. But that's the big thing. It's 3rd of September, by the way, yeah? By the way, tomorrow's my birthday, so happy days. No Arsenal to ruin it, although they already ruined it by drawing to Brighton, so thanks for that. If we look in the next, just 1 month, if we look generally, 24 days, and we have 7 games to play. How many points do you think we are getting here? How many wins out of these games we are getting? How many games? Spurs, City, Atalanta, Bolton, obviously, Leicester, Southampton, PSG. How many games? Exactly. It better be all of them. That's the thing. It better be all of them. Because if we want to challenge for the league, for the title, anything, or include Champions League and EFL Cups, because I'm sick of tired of this Lego-headed Spanish Bombaclat just binning the 3rd or 4th round Carabao and FA Cups. I want to challenge on all fronts. I want for us to do that. But we don't have the squad to do that. And again, it's on Mikel Arteta. But overall, these all games, 7 games, are must-win games if we want to be there. Because if we win all these games, we are pretty much 1 point ahead of City. We are at the moment 2 points behind. If we win all of those games, we will beat... That's before the next international break, by the way. That's why I'm talking about these 7 games. We need to win all of them, and we will be 1 point ahead of City before the next international break. That's why I'm asking you this. It's all must win. You got... wait, Merino and Rice will be available soon. Rice will be available after Spurs game. Merino is out for 2 months. Was confirmed yesterday. He will be back at the end of October. End of October, which is right here. Before? Yeah, before arguably Newcastle game. Then he needs to get fitness, then he needs to train. So he will be back most likely after Inter game? Before Chelsea or something like that? Something in those lines. Can we deal without him? We have no midfield. We genuinely have no midfield. Merino was the answer, as everyone was praising. The number 8 to unlock Martinelli. He's not. Let's get it out of the way. He's a decent signing overall, but he's not someone who will set the world on fire. He's not the world-class signing we got promised when we moved to Emirates. When they said, be excited, we are here to compete with Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. He's not. And Josh Kroenke said in 2018, be excited Champions League will attract world-class players. 2 years in Champions League now. Where are the world-class players? Yeah, don't panic. I'm not panicking. But I'm raising already worrying signs, the red flags, that are already slowly getting more and more brighter. And it's only 3 games in. That is the big issue. Only 3 games in. And already we are on certain level on ropes. On certain level. Don't take this out of context. We are not fully on ropes, but we are getting there. Genuinely. You got the same birthday as my good friend. He's turning 30 tomorrow. Nah. I'd rather than not say how old I am, to be honest. No reason why we can't win all those games. Not scared of Atlanta and PSG. We should be winning all those games. Let's be real. Well, to be honest, City are the only one that should scare us. Let's just say that. Because at Etihad, we always play like morons, cowards, and I don't want to get... I even cannot get demonetized. I don't want to say that. Like chickens, basically. I don't want to say that word. Like cats, but you get what I mean. We never go for it. We sit deep and hit them on a counter. We generally never go for it. That's the thing. I agree that we need to win all. Exactly. Before the next international break, when we come back on September 15th, there are 7 games. And if we want to have chances to win the league, we must win all of them. And that includes winning Man City at the Etihad. Because winning against Manchester City at the Etihad would be that statement win we need. Because if we win all of those games, we are 1 point ahead of City, even if City win all the games. First of all. Second of all, if we win at Etihad, this would be something we haven't done in ages, first as well. And that would actually send some sort of a message to City. Because every single year, Grealish, Rodri, Haaland, all of them have taken the piss out of Arsenal for not attacking them, playing safe, and parking the bus in a way. Especially when we go to the Etihad. And they all have said, when we drew against them at the Etihad last year, we knew we were going to win the title. Because we didn't go for it. We just genuinely didn't go for it. We were scared. It generally looked like we didn't want it enough. I'm worried that we will have a collapse, but I hope I'm wrong. The thing is, that's what the worrying part is. Every single season, at some point, for a certain extent of time to some games, we have a collapse. It's either 3 games, 5 games, we always have that one collapse. Either one big collapse or 2 minor ones. We had that last year when we went 1-7. 2 years ago when we, in the big first part of the season, second part of the season. 3 years ago when we balled top 4, it was to the end part in the last 5 games of the season when we needed to win just 1 game or 1 game I think we needed to win to get top 4. Yet at the end of the day we balled it. We lost to Brighton 3-0 at home. I think we lost to Nottingham Forest or drew to Nottingham Forest and stuff like that. It was actually kind of wild. The thing is, Arsenal have this cluster in them when they lose either in big chunk or 2 smaller clusters. And that's happening every single season. And if we can actually manage to eradicate that, or even to kind of reduce it and to stretch it out throughout the whole season, on occasion here or there, it will be much, much better. Because if it all happens at once, it kind of sets in mentally as well, and it's hard to get out of. And that's what we saw 1-7. If we actually managed to win certain game or draw one of those games, then it may be lost somewhere at different time of the season. It actually could not have been that detrimental overall. But I think it kind of affected our team. After 3 games you worried. You just said Pep. You said Pep said it's like preseason games, but let's wait. Yeah, that's the thing. Man City looked like demons on demon time already. And we all know that Man City starts the season slow as a turtle. Genuinely. They play awful football. Well, not awful, but they play nothing like themselves. They stink out the places. And they do almost nothing. Yet this season, they have steamrolled everyone. Haaland has more goals alone than Arsenal has goals. He has 2 hat-tricks already. Like, what are we talking about here? Come on, man. You cannot say honestly that that's actually serious here. Pep said the first 3 games for him in this season has been like preseason. The real season for him starts after this international break. And if that's any indication, they will get even better. And that's even worse for Arsenal, let's be real. And if he says that, and we have to play them, boy oh boy, I'm not gonna say I'm not worried. I am worried. Because City are the ones we are going up against. I generally feel Liverpool are in a stronger position than us this season. Arguably, yes. They look better than us at the moment. The thing is, they are a few 1-2 injuries away from it falling apart. We actually kind of have depth in certain, especially defensively. If they get injured, they're kind of screwed. If we get defensively injured, we kind of have players to kind of fix the gaps. The midfield, we have better midfield, although Gravenberch has done great for them in that midfield as that 6th role which they lack desperately, let's be real. And to be honest, Luis Diaz looks insane at the moment. Salah looks also kind of rejuvenated, so I am a bit worried. I'm not gonna lie about them as well. Big up Galen in the chat. Big up Galen. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Would you swap Saka for Salah? No. No, I wouldn't. Agree that we need to be concerned. For me, that we must demand that we get players that are improved. Exactly. We sold insane amount of players and we didn't replace pretty much none of them. We didn't place Eddie. We didn't place... what's its face? Fabio Vieira. We sold all the possible backups to Odegaard. We have no replacement for them. We don't have a proper striker. I don't know what this club is doing. It's causing us a bit of a depression, I'm not gonna lie. We are not winning at Etihad. Don't get your hope. That's the big thing. My hope is we actually will go there and we're gonna do it. Yet we never go for it at Etihad, and that is the big thing. We play at Etihad like we are a championship side. Park the bus, hit on a counter, hope we score. And just hope we can withstand the pressure in a way. Man City looks sloppy in the defense but insane in attack. If they tighten up their defense, they might be on another... Exactly, that's a big worry for me. Because we looked sloppy defensively overall and we haven't tightened up at all so far. Raya has saved us big time. City look insane in attack. We look pathetic in attack. We cannot create proper chances. Yes, we have created chances every single game. No argument about that. But we don't have anyone to finish them. Odegaard has created about 2-3 proper chances throughout this whole 3 games in the beginning of the season. 2-3 chances. That's it. I think for XG or whatever it's gonna call it as well, we are not even, I think, in top 8, top 10 in Premier League at the moment. So what can we talk about scoring goals, winning games in proper fashion? We spread the goals around. What there is to spread, unless your legs for City. No Diddy. And everything. If this is the case. If we barely can create, we barely can score against the small teams, how can we score against the big teams? For example, Gyökeres, Watkins, Eze, Pereira, Gomez, Konsa in the winter, next summer window. I don't want Gomez. I don't want Konsa. I would take Eze. I would take Gyökeres. To be honest, we should have signed Eze or Olise this summer. Let's be real. Our expected data is down this season. That's the big thing. And everyone said, oh, summer is gonna come. We're gonna sign a striker. We're gonna bang in goals. We're gonna miss the chances we missed last year. So what striker did we sign? Realistically, what striker did we sign? Only strike we got here is the pain that Arsenal struck me with when this window closed and when we had 4 out of 10 window and we barely did a half-ass job. That's the only thing they struck. Pain. No, that was the biggest strike they did. Genuinely. Anyhow, I think on that note, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for being here. You have been fantastic. It's been quite some time. It's been quite a bit of a fun. I didn't expect this stream to be so wild, so energetic and so passionate, but it somehow sounded that way and I absolutely loved it. I'm not gonna lie. You have been fan-freaking amazing. So if you could do me this favor, smash a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell and all that stuff, it would be kind of freaking fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. You have been freaking amazing. Thank you guys so much for chatting. You have been insane. Have a great evening. Have a great day tomorrow. Hope everything is fine with you. Hope everyone's in good mental status, mental health wise. Obviously, nobody has some sort of sad things going on in life. Hope everyone's living their best life. Take care. Stay safe. And let's hope that after this international break, nobody comes back injured. Oh, and by the way, Edu out.